back to my channel. My name is Emily and I'm so happy to have you here. Today I wanted to kind of give a little pile of possibilities for Shorty September. I did a video a few back where I recommended 5 short books for this long Labor Day weekend that we have, and that was kind of inspired by Shorty September in a way, but now I kind of wanted to do my own video of books that I'm thinking about reading in September. And if you don't know, Shorty September is a BookTube event, and I'll link the hosts down below and their announcement videos if I can find them, so you can go look at those too. But it is a month-long BookTube event where we try to focus on reading shorter novels. And I think this is a great way to kind of kick off the fall after summer, where a lot of people have focused on big books over the summer with like Big Book Summer and just other different reading events. So I think this is a great way to kind of transition from summer to fall. And there's just a lot of great shorter novels out there that sometimes don't get a lot of attention. On BookTube, we can kind of put a lot of emphasis on mammoths and other really big books, which deserve attention, and I love that we talk about them so much, but we don't always talk about shorter books as much. So this is a really great time to give them a little bit more attention and affection. But Shorty September, the general ground rules are that I think they're supposed to be novels that are 200 pages or fewer, maybe 250, but I think generally people kind of try to stick around 200 or fewer. So here's a few that, these are books that I just have on my shelves already and that I have not read. So none of these are rereads for me, and so some of them I don't really know a whole lot about, but I'm excited to learn. So here are the books that I'm thinking about reading for Shorty September. And the first one is The Uncommon Reader by Alan Bennett. And I know this is a much beloved book. It is 120 pages. And this is a little story about the late Queen Elizabeth II, and a fictionalized story of her stumbling into a mobile library and getting some books and discovering a love of reading and how important it is. And everyone I know just raves about this book and how sweet it is. And this is what I'm prioritizing this month, so I'm really excited to read this one. And then we have the classic, The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. This is 127 pages. Yeah. So honestly, I'm really kind of surprised I haven't ever read this before, but I just never have. This was not one that we did in school. We did A Farewell to Arms in high school, and then I never, and if I'm being honest, when I was in high school, I didn't appreciate Hemingway or A Farewell to Arms. He was not one of my favorites, so I kind of avoided Hemingway the rest of the time. But I don't know, I'd like to read this and pick this up. It is the classic story of the old fisherman and his fight against the giant marlin that he's trying to catch. So I don't know, I feel like this is one that I should have read probably, and why not tackle it for Shorty September? But if you've read this and you love it, let me know and send some encouragement my way to pick Hemingway back up again. In reality, I think I would appreciate him more as an adult than I would have in high school. So yeah, I probably should just get to this one. Now I have 2 from Graham Greene. And the first is The End of the Affair, and this is 160 pages. but I'm gonna kind of just read like a little bit of the flap, honestly, because I mean, I know a little bit about this, but I don't want to steer you wrong, I guess. So it's a story of Maurice Bendrix's love affair with a woman named Sarah Miles, and how it affects him, I think maybe how it affects her, and his relationship with God throughout all of it. And I know people love this. I've seen some other kind of like reading groups cover this and have discussions about it. So I'm interested to read it and maybe go back and listen to some of those discussion talks. But I've wanted to read Graham Greene for a while, and I have a couple of his books on my shelf that I've picked up that I just haven't gotten to yet. So I'm kind of thinking that September might be a good time to finally tackle him. And the other one I have from Graham Greene is The Quiet American. And I believe that this has a movie adaptation, which I've never seen, but this one is 180 pages, so a little bit longer than The End of the Affair. But this is about a man sent to Saigon on a mysterious mission where the French army is struggling against the Vietnamese guerrillas. So yeah, I don't really know much about the plot or premise of this one either. But again, I've wanted to get to Graham Greene for a while. I'm interested in reading some of his novels. And yeah, I just think September could be a good time for me to finally tackle him. So if you've ever read either of these from Graham Greene, let me know what you think about them below, or just let me know your thoughts on Graham Greene in general, because he's one that I'm interested in. And then another one I have is from my beloved Wendell-Berry, but it is The Memory of Old Jack. And this is 170 pages. But this, I believe it features, the main character is Jack Beecham, who in the other Port William stories I've read, he features a little bit more prominently in one of the short stories I've read called Pray Without Ceasing. And I think the point of this book is it's Jack Beecham sitting outside one of the old country stores in Port William as an old man. And I think it's him kind of reminiscing on his life from the perspective he has as an older man. And I think it's supposed to be a really poignant, sweet story. And I don't know, I kind of feel like I've put this off because I feel like it's going to remind me a lot of my grandfather and maybe make me kind of sad. But I don't know. Obviously I've talked about Wendell-Berry a few times on this channel briefly, but I love his stories so much. And this is one I haven't read yet. And I'd like to get to this one as well. And I feel like this one would also be a good kind of early fall, late summer read, as I feel like a lot of Wendell-Berry is. So yeah, this one could be a nice pick. Okay, and now I actually have two Steinbeck novellas as well. I have The Pearl by John Steinbeck. This is 87 pages. And then I have Cannery Row, which is a little bit longer, a lot longer, at 181 pages. So I've never read either of these. Frankly, the only thing from Steinbeck that I have read is Of Mice and Men, which I read in high school, and I really enjoyed it. Steinbeck's two bigger novels, East of Eden and Grapes of Wrath, are things that are definitely on my list that I really want to get to, particularly East of Eden. That's just something that I really, really want to read, and I just haven't. There's a lot of things I need to read, and it just hasn't gotten to the top, but it's something that I just kind of like know that I'm gonna like. But I also enjoyed Steinbeck's shorter fiction, and so I really want to get to these as well. I will admit that these are not ones I'm prioritizing this September, but if I can get to these, I'd like to, but I am at this point kind of prioritizing more of the Uncommon Reader and the Graham Greene books. But if, I don't know, I'm open to suggestion. If you change my mind, if I should change my mind from focusing on Graham Greene to these, tell me. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about, I've talked on here before that I enjoy reading plays, and plays often qualify for Shorty September because they are often very short, and these are no different. And this actually also qualifies for Shaketemper, which is another BookTube event where we try to read some Shakespeare in September. But I have this omnibus collection of Shakespeare's Henriade tetralogy, which is his histories of Richard II, Henry IV Part 1, Henry IV Part 2, and Henry V. And collectively, that group of 4 plays is known as the Henriade. And each one of those plays individually is certainly shorter than 200 pages, but I don't know, I'd at least like to start this in September. The Close Reads podcast that I mentioned in one of my previous videos, which I'll also link down below, I really enjoyed their discussions on books. On their subscriber section, they are currently going through the Henriade right now, and I'm a little bit behind, but I'd like to kind of pick up and read along with them, because I've never read any of Shakespeare's histories. I tend to gravitate towards his tragedies, so I actually have never read any of the histories, and so I'd like to kind of dip my toe into those with these. But okay, so those are the books I'm kind of looking at, maybe picking up in September for Shorty September, and one of them kind of doubles as a Shaketemper pick. But yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of prioritize the Uncommon Reader, Graham Greene, and Wendell Berry, but change my mind. If you think I should go for the Steinbeck instead or Hemingway, let me know what you think. Yeah, I'm open to suggestion. Y'all always have great feedback for me and great opinions and thoughtful comments, so those are things that I absolutely welcome. I love getting to talk to y'all in the comments about these books, so I'd love to know what you are also looking at reading in Shorty September. I've seen a lot of great videos go around about these, and I just think it's really nice to kind of focus on short books for once on BookTube. So I hope y'all have a great day and evening, and I'll talk to y'all soon.